push something around, or like were you frustrated and took it
No,
out on the table?
I hit my foot against the baby table that was on the ground. You know, the table that we put her high chair on? It was just on the ground and my foot hit up against it. Is she okay? Is she dirty? Is she...
No, I just cleaned her, I just changed her diaper.
Okay.
She might be hungry again.
And I'm not frustrated, I'm just living this situation out. We're going to be talking a little bit about the N-word here. And I think that, again, it's just kind of that lingering suspicion that I don't know what it feels like to be black. And, of course, I'm not black. So I don't know how that's relevant or important. What my claim is that nigger means human. And that, indeed, the suggestion that you need to be black to make that claim, or that it's better off if the word nigger means a black person, or that, you know, it's wrong in some ways to claim that nigger means human, is really tired, but it's apparently somehow not worn out for so many people. And we're going to see if Diana wants to talk about that a little bit, or if she's closer to being done with it. It's a nice enough day. I think we'll be okay. You know, I have to admit, sometimes when talking to Diana, especially about YouTube, especially about nigger, I feel frustrations, because I know that she deleted the Very Blessed channel and was not supportive in so many ways. And yet, I mean, she's had to live with a guy who seems pretty monstrous at times. Seems like he's got a lot of issues. I have a lot of sympathy for that, but then one of my biggest problems with it is that I look at the situation, and you know, I see a woman that chose to be with him, that wouldn't stick it out with me. And I've got that problem that, you know, you kind of get what you sign up for, and you can't always change it, make it better. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk, sweetness. Did you put her down for a nap?
Yeah, she's eating and napping.
Oh, sweetness. I love you.
I'm surprised at like how you replenish your like love so quickly. And it's kind of refreshing sometimes.
You know, it's available to anyone if they just want to love everyone they can. I don't always replenish it that quickly when people are trying to be misunderstanding, and I have my frustrations. Okay, well then understand. I know the history of the word nigger, and when I say nigger means human, I'm talking about the present and the future.
But the great
and I'm
thing
also
about it, though, yeah, go ahead.
I'm also trying to challenge people a little bit about the way they view the past. So many people seem to act as if today they are in similar circumstances to when they were enslaved. But the truth is that in many ways there are many protections that they have offered to them.
So
And there's no reason to treat nigger as a term of mourning all the time, when there's a lot of work left to do if you're a liberal, if you care about the poor, if you care about the people that have hurt.
mm-hmm.
So I know the history of the word quite well.
But it's almost like you were denying it, because I was like, well, do you know that initially people feel that way about it? And that's key.
Well, I know, of course, that initially people
And that-
are acting in ignorance, and my problem
No,
now is
it's-
not with people that initially have felt as if the word nigger is a problem. The problem is that these people that have had those initial feelings grip onto them past their due date.
And who, for example?
Curus 1, for example, seems particularly incapable of understanding.
But I think
that
it's more so...
I don't want to emphasize the definition of nigger as black, and so he indeed calls me racist and says that it is a racist notion that nigger means human, and I think that that on its face fails. I think that you can examine it more closely and see clearly that that's not the case.
But I think that it's more of a character problem. I know Kyrus kind of from, I can kind of see into his character. And he, pushes buttons if he feels like you're not a nice person or whatever. But that's all it is.
Well,
I'm sure he's been interested in the concept, or else that's why he has watched. But
I don't want to, pretend that he is just pushing buttons. I want
But
to
he
take him
is.
at his word. He says that
But he
the
pushes
idea
buttons.
that nigger means human is racist. This is his actual claim. If he's just pressing a button, then that's childish at this point in the game. And if he's
he
not
said that
pressing
it's
a button,
racist?
yeah, if he's not pressing a button, then that's foolish. So between childish and foolish, I'll probably say both. I think that he's misbehaving and doing very poorly.
Well, it's just so strange to me that you didn't you didn't want to admit that initially, of course, people would associate it with all of that
I know
history.
that they do. I'm not admitting that. What is that admitting? Like I'm claiming that they don't. What I'm saying is that nigger means human. And people have this available to them. They may update this information. They don't need to stay in the past. They can join us in the present. And that this is an acceptable thing to do, and in fact should be expected of people that deal with this topic.
So when you want to talk about the white man's N-word, what does that mean?
So right now, culturally, it is acceptable for black people to say the N-word, but it's not acceptable for anyone else to say it. And it's also expected of black people that they feel fear and hatred and derision and outrage over a white person. I went to the dentist a month ago, periodontist, and my periodontist was a black man, and the rest of the community of periodontists were offended that I had my last name Supernigger and was delivered to his operating table. And their offense at that fact extended for days, to the point where it was clear that they were acting out something cultural in ignorance and had no real interest in his feelings or my own or our circumstances.
So they didn't see you for who you were, but they just focused on what they believed about that word.
Right. And that's the problem. And that's also similarly what Curris is doing, and the Emo Diary and Pre-Med do, and
But you actually
all these
have,
people online that don't give a shit.
They act that way because they know you and they're thinking about things
They
that
don't
have
know
nothing.
me, apparently.
They think that there's some sort of like rapport built there.
No.
Friendship.
No. You know, and it's kind of familiarity, but for me it's contempt, and for them it's disgust. And I regret knowing them. Each of them is deeply fucked up. They're terrible people. There's no reason at all for them to insist that what I'm doing is racist when they should know better by now. And they, like Kuris, are behaving childishly and possibly just foolishly. And I don't understand what they get out of it. Camaraderie. If everybody else is behaving childishly, then do as the Romans do. But Romans also butchered people, you know, and the gladiators were real, and Christians got eaten by lions, and you know, my stance is that the mature approach is to recognize nigger as human and recognize its other definitions, and to get on past such a small and yet important issue.
So you know that that's so tough, right? Just that alone.
No.
But I've seen that.
It doesn't have to be. I think they've made it tough, and they've done so in foolishness.
Well, sometimes it's hard for people, as you should know, maybe in your interviews or something, it's hard for people to wrap their mind around it.
At first glance. However, this is not at first glance. Many of these people have been dealing with this topic for months or years, and their continued failure is actually really repulsive.
They just, I mean, it's a character thing, I think.
Yeah. Okay, it's irrelevant.
But not
so
to
in
them.
that case, then it's a witch hunt.
Just like politicians.
And so a witch hunt, why should I have respect for people in the midst of that?
Because you're among them, and
I'm not trying to analyze my character with them.
But that's just, I mean, a politician doesn't want to do that either, but then, you know, if you're trying to change something, then don't you, I think there's certain things that you don't, like, you want to live in an ideal world, and it's like there's certain things you won't accept, and then you end up hating, like, people in general. Because
I'm not hating anyone right now.
Okay,
but yeah, it has got frustrating.
The species that you are and that you're a part of acts a certain way.
Certainly.
They don't act like a dog would, or that a cat, or like a cat would, or like a bird would, or like a rhinoceros would, or like an elephant would. Humans act a certain way, and they like certain things, and then they don't like other things, and then they think this way, and then they don't think other ways.
Do you know what Homo sapiens means?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Homo, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Oh, Homo means the same.
Yeah.
And sapiens means intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And in this regard, it is very human to understand that nigger means human. Homo sapiens should be people that look for the same intelligence and that are intelligent.
Right, but I have tried to express things to, like, you or other people that they don't understand. Right. But it makes perfect sense to me, but I can't express it correctly, and therefore it goes like this.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is we can rename the species from Homo sapiens to Homo ignoramus, or we can try and live up to the name that we've been given. These people can understand that nigger means human, and there's nothing wrong with doing so. I think that's important.